You are listening to Proof Text, a Glossa House podcast exploring Scripture with Dr. T. Michael W. Halcomb and Dr. Frederick J. Long. Welcome and enjoy.
Hello and welcome to Proof Text. I'm Michael Halcomb, and in this episode, I'm thinking about three things. And I'm going to share those three things with you. I've been talking in the last several episodes of this mini-series of three things about things I saw while I was in Italy that are related to Scripture, New Testament, or Christian history. And in this episode, I want to share three more of those things with you. The first thing that I want to share with you, if you're watching, I'm going to show some pictures on the screen here. If you're not, that's okay as well. Are the Christian catacombs. Now, these are pretty amazing. Thousands upon thousands of Christians were buried in here, and it's all underground, and it just goes for miles and miles and miles. They're still excavating and still uncovering things in here. That's how amazing it is. I mean, these are just tunnels upon tunnels upon tunnels, and if you're looking at the picture here, you can see those are tombs, those little like shelf looking things are where bodies would have been laid. And like I said, this just goes for miles and miles and miles. One of the tombs the catacombs that I visited, my wife and I visited, were the the catacombs of Saint Calixtus, and really it was amazing. And I would just highly recommend it. There's all kinds of Christian art throughout these things, and it's really just a unique sight to behold. Fascinating stuff. The next thing that I want to share, I've talked about it already, of course, is the Colosseum. And I mentioned that this isn't far from the Mamertine prison. It isn't at all far. It's right next door to the Roman Forum, and it's right across the modern street from Nero's Domus Aurea. And it's really a sight to behold. I mean, it's amazing. It's huge, and it's archaic, and it's beautiful. You can do tours to sort of the lowest levels, or you can just do a regular tour around the regular levels, like the normal levels. One of the things I didn't know, when you kind of like come into the entrance of the Colosseum, if you ever visit, don't miss this, go ahead and like walk straight through to sort of the first lookout, and there's a huge cross there overlooking the entirety of the Colosseum floor. And if you're looking at this picture, this is where like there would have been ground over this, like a floor over this, and doors would have opened from the ground, and they would have let like tigers and lions and bears and elephants, all kinds of things out into the Colosseum, to the arena where people would take on each other as well as these animals. Really intricate how they had this built. Slaves would have been working under here, and really just a fascinating place, but really cool to see the cross there today. And in fact, when we were there were a handful of I guess high Orthodox priests, and they stood under the cross, and they sang a hymn, which was really cool to see that. But this is certainly a site worth seeing if you're in Rome. It's very busy, very crowded. If you can get in early or late, near the end, I would recommend doing one of those. But midday, it's super crowded and hard to get like good pictures with nobody in them and that sort of thing if you want nobody in them. Another place that I would suggest visiting is the Sistine Chapel, which is super cool. One of the things I didn't know, the Sistine Chapel is usually packed, and it's kind of as you're winding your way through the Vatican, you're going through this whole museum. Like you'll see the guy, the disc thrower, that famous statue. I got a picture of that. He, by the way, when I was there, was often a side room, not even like featured. But all kinds of other famous statues as you're walking through the Vatican Museum. And then like the last kind of place that you get, or one of the last places you get, is the Sistine Chapel. Everything kind of builds up to that. And when you get in there, it is packed. You are not supposed to take pictures or videos, and every like 30 seconds a voice will come on over the the speaker and say, silence, silence, please. And they'll keep doing that. It's kind of annoying, right? But it is neat just to see this. And I would recommend going and checking it out if you're in the area. But do know that it's super busy. And if you're going to go, I would highly recommend buying the skip the line ticket. It's totally worth it. The lines get long. Get the skip the line ticket. And if you can go as an individual rather than as a group, I think that's going to be more enjoyable for you too. But those are my three things that I'm thinking about in this episode: the Sistine Chapel, the Christian Catacombs, and the Roman Colosseum. If you're ever in Italy, you're ever in Rome, I highly recommend checking those three places out. But for now, I hope that helps.
Interested in growing your ancient language skills but not sure where to start? Glossa House can help. From illustrated readers and short stories to lexicons and grammars, Glossa House offers a variety of resources for beginning, intermediate, and experienced ancient language learners. Head to glossahouse.com today. Glossa House, language resources for the global community.